So welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris and I'm a gorilla in the wrist. Today we're looking at this Benyar BY5177, a brand that I haven't always got on very well with, and asking the question, should I really have bothered? Let's find out. So we're going to do a quick run around specifications for this watch. So we have a 41mm dial width. The lug-to-lug off the supplied strap is 51mm, has a very odd 21mm lug width, which we'll come back to, a depth of 14mm. It claims a Hardlex crystal, I'm not sure, and 50 metres of water resistance. It uses the G26667 movement and weighs in at 154 grams. So today we're looking at this Benyar BY5177. Very clearly a very famous homage. I'm not going to say the name or the make of it because it's just bad juju really. But those of you that know will know what this is. So I picked this one up on AliExpress for the princely sum of £21. It claimed an automatic movement, and I thought maybe I should give it another go. My last experience of Benyar wasn't great. I suspect a few of you might have seen that. It's very rare to catch a movement dying live on camera, and that's exactly what happened with it, which was a shame because it was actually a really good looking watch. I was most disappointed, and it kind of did put me off the brand, so I've really not got involved again. I think also I was a little bit sceptical about some of their claims about the watch as well, and so this was really an opportunity just to play back and see where they are a year and a bit further on. But in terms of what we got, let's introduce you to the watch. In terms of what we got is we have a very high polish finish all the way along, all the way around, and it is a complete fingerprint magnet. You will have immediately noticed that it's not on the bracelet that it came on, and to be honest, it lasted on the bracelet for all of about 5.5 minutes, for a couple of reasons that I'll kind of explain. Now I'll show you the bracelet, so I'll just put the watch down for a minute. What you had was a sort of faux 3-link oyster. The problem I had with it, or two problems I had with it. The first one was that clasp is just terrible. I know it's 21 quid, I know, but it's just awful. Anyway, so I happened to just have a San Martin NATO strap, and I know that sand coloured NATOs go really well with black dials, so I thought, no, let's go for the safe one. So I slipped it on this, and I've worn it on this for the last week or so. I mean, in terms of what you get, it's 40mm, because the OG has just released a 40mm example of this one. The lug width is actually, it claims to be 20mm, it's not, it's 21. And I know that because that's why the end links from the bracelet didn't fit into it properly, and that's why every time I tried to put it on one of my 20-inch straps, it fell off. I've got quite a few 20mm straps, but not many 21mm ones. That disappointed. The lug-to-lug on this is quite long as well, so on the bracelet, because there are male end links, it's even longer, but I measure it at 51mm, so quite big for a 40mm watch. Thickness is acclaimed at 14mm. I actually think it's close to 13.5. Clearly slapping a NATO onto it has made it thicker, but actually it doesn't ride like some other watches that I've seen on your hands. Covering the dial, which we're going to come back to in a minute, is again acclaimed Hardlex crystal. I have no idea how I would test that. I did hit it with the diamond selector, and it's clearly not a sapphire crystal. And it also claims 50 metres of water resistance. The crown is not screwed down though, so personally I wouldn't take it in the water. Each their own. I may be completely wrong. It may be well gasketed and absolutely fine. But for me, no, I've not even worn this one in the shower. The case itself is alloy. Again, probably not unexpected at this sort of price point, but not terrible. I mean, it's not got much any special finishing. There's no chamfered edges. There's none of the sort of the nice touches that you would see on a watch like this. And it houses a Chinese movement, and all I can tell you about it is that the movement is called a G26667. It's 21,600 beats per minute. Apparently has about 36-hour power reserve. But we do have an exhibition case back. We have this. I have to say I was kind of a little bit surprised at this, because actually, I mean, I quite often look at the back of exhibition case backs on watches that have sort of an NH35, and it's as ugly as sin. You kind of really wonder why it bothered uncovering its face. But this one actually is rather nice. The rotor, they've taken a bit of time to shape the rotor nicely. There's some really nice brushing on there. It's quite impressive, I have to say. And in terms of the dial, we kind of all know this one, don't we? So we have applied indices. The triangle at the 12, we have numerals at 3, 6 and 9, and then just batons everywhere else. There's no day date on this one. And to be honest with you, I think it kind of works with the symmetry really well. There's nothing, no decoration on the Rehote chapter ring. It's just very, very reflective. And that's about it, really. So as per usual, I'm going to start with the things that I'm not a big fan of this watch, and I do have to put a little bit of context around this. So I'm going to whinge about quite a lot of things that I'm not a fan of. This is a £21 watch, so just bear that in mind as I'm whinging away at it. The first problem I have with it is that I think it's just too tall, and too deep. If you look at that Rehote chapter ring, it just seems too deep for me. And the reflection it creates, because it is very high polished, does kind of change the way that the watch works and is viewed. The other problem I have is that the finishing on it isn't great, so there are a number of places where there's sort of odd, let's try and see them in between the lugs, there's some really odd sort of finishing marks and sort of burrs and all sorts. So it's not a well finished watch. The next thing is the lug width. So when I opened this and looked at it, I looked at the bracelet and the fit and thought, well, that's just rubbish. They clearly haven't got it right. But there is a reason. The lug width, I've measured the lug width with digital calipers. It is 21mm. It's too wide for the strap that they've given you, and hence that's part of the problem. And then the final one is the bracelet, although I don't think it's quite as bad as I originally thought. And I think the problem with the bracelet actually isn't with the bracelet. I think it's with the lug width. That's what causes the problem. But those are the things that I had a bit of a problem with this one. I do feel a little bit harsh saying all of them, but you have to review what's in front of you. I can't make it up. I can't go soft. I have to tell you it as it is. In terms of the things that I like about it, the greats, you kind of have to start with the price. This is an automatic movement for 21 quid, exhibition case back. And actually, I think the exhibition case back and the movement looks fantastic. Certainly, I've had watches 3, 4, 5 times this price with exhibition case backs on them, and I've looked at them and thought, I really wish you hadn't bothered. You know, it really is like bringing your ugly sister to the ball. And this one isn't. And I am impressed with its performance over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I've had no trouble with the movement at all, which, given my previous experience with Benyar, is a bit of a miracle, to be absolutely honest. And it's been accurate, and it's worked fine. I've had no problems with it at all. I have got other homages to this. I've got somewhere a Corsair one, and that's really nice too. But that was 3 times as much as this one. And this one actually does pretty well. I say I've worn it for a week. Actually, it's been quite good fun. I've quite enjoyed it, which was a bit of a surprise, and I suppose good that maybe Benyar can now come back into the fold. I can't look past the problems with the finishing and things like that, but again, if you bought a £21 Casio, I suspect what you would get is plastic. So I'm going to wrap this one up fairly quickly, mostly because it's absolutely sweltering in here. I started out by asking the question, has this one improved on my last experience of Benyar watches? And I think for me, I think it really has. Now clearly this is a £21 watch, so it comes with all the flaws that you would expect in a £21 watch. But actually it's been full of little surprises. So I have really enjoyed wearing it this week. I've never felt embarrassed that it's on my wrist. I have reached for it. I've always said that that's one of my tests, whether I reach for it in the morning after I've had a shower. And this one I have. I've been quite happy putting it on my wrist. I've been quite happy wearing it. It as you would have got from the crime section, there's a lot wrong with it. But I still come back to, if you like this particular style of watch and you are interested and you've only got 20 quid in your back pocket, this is not terrible. Just make sure whatever you do, if you buy one, buy yourself a decent NATO strap to go with it. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you have, please like and subscribe. Please comment. I love the interaction. I love your guys' comments on it. So always happy to hear what you got to say. But other than that, next week we're going to be looking at my first Casio edifice, telling you what I make of that. Other than that, have a fantastic weekend, and I look forward to seeing you back next week. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.